What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today it is going to be, it feels like we've done a lot of these over the last 2 weeks, but today is an introductory episode to our final new series that we're going to have for the Madden 20 cycle, and we dropped a teaser for it a couple days ago, and I got the exact reaction I was kind of looking for in the comments, and I just like the fact that almost anything that I'm trying new and different on the channel is being met with a lot of positive feedback and excitement, which makes me, in turn makes me excited, makes me ready to go. And today we are doing flashback pink slips. So what essentially this is, we are here in the year 2002. I wish I had time to make a creative, super awesome, dope, retro introduction, but that's gonna be more so for when we actually get to the first official episode. I'll have a little bit more time because, you know, basically I've been waiting to get this episode out to get the feedback out, get information out to you guys, and kind of explain what's going on, because usually Pink Slips is predominantly been a streaming series, and we have brought it to YouTube, and you guys have enjoyed it on YouTube, but I feel like most of my audience that watches my streams, they're most familiar with Pink Slips, and if you're just here watching my YouTube content, you might not know what's going on. So I need to lay everything out for usual Pink Slips, as well as explain what makes this flashback Pink Slip series so unique, so different, and what I think is going to be so fun. So we are here in 2002. I kept a couple guys on this roster just to show you that we are, in fact, in the year 2002 with guys you know. We're Tennessee, which I'll explain why we're Tennessee a little bit later. Well, look, we got Air McNair, who's an X Factor. We're obviously because they're Pink Slips. We got to release him. We have Derek Mason at wide receiver. He's a known one of the more productive wide receivers they've had. On the defensive side of the ball, we got Javon Curse, the freak himself. Spent some time with the Eagles. And we got Keith Bullock at outside linebacker. Guy was a tackle machine for the Tennessee Titans. So all the rosters in the rest of the league are also set in 2002. And what we have is every ensuing draft class. So essentially, we are starting the NFL over. We are starting in the year 2002, and we're going to go as long as this series has, a heartbeat, hopefully to 2020. So we're going to be able to redefine, reshape the NFL, and we have Pink Slips thrown into it, a new element. And if you don't know what Pink Slips is, Pink Slips, pop up the rules. We're essentially going to keep the base rules the same for now. There's always room for suggestions if you guys want to see something, and maybe with now being a flashback scenario, maybe there's different ideas that you guys can add to the Pink Slips rules. But essentially, the easiest way to understand Pink Slips is if we win a game, we win a player from the opposing team. And once we get to a certain point, if we lose a game, we can lose one of our players. Now, there's a lot more stuff that can go into it, which will make a lot more sense when it actually happens. Once we get a couple games in, a team established. But based upon our performance, it grades out for star ratings. And for every single star, you get a +2 that you can steal away for a certain player. So if I win a game and I get a 5-star performance, that means I can straight up go to, say we're the Tennessee Titans right now, and we beat the New England Patriots. And we get a 5-star performance. That means I look at O'Donnell here, and I could swap him for a 75, or at least up to a 75 overall player, because I have 10 points that I have available to spend to upgrade my team from the team we just defeated. And if you get a 5-star performance, you also get an option to spin a wheel that has a bunch of different widgets on it that are all positive, that all help your team in various ways. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I feel like 95% of you know what Pink Slips is. You don't need this rundown, but you want to see what else is going on. So that's what I'm going to try and drop to you. But I did want to show in the rules here to explain to the people who might not know, and also let you guys know that I am looking for suggestions. I would definitely be open to adding a rule or two, or getting rid of a rule or two, because we stopped the last Pink Slip series here in Madden 20 because it came too easy, right? We're playing on All-Pro, and we basically made a money team. A low-rated money team, but a money team nonetheless, because we played on All-Pro. And the different star ratings, we got a lot of 5-star ratings. We got a lot of 5-star performances. We spun the wheel a whole lot, and we were just winning way too much. So if there's something in the stars that you think we can adjust to make it maybe a little bit more challenging, we can. But here's my suggestion. My suggestion is we're going to keep it on All-Pro, because the last thing I want to do is have 2 cupcake kind of team builder series going on the channel where it's just super hard on both kind of videos. The Rip City, we have the whole, we're going up against the XFL. We can't draft. We can only sign free agents, and the free agents have to be the bottom of the barrel free agents, and we're playing on all Madden, and it's a super difficult, challenging experience. I don't want Flashback Pink Slips to be the exact same thing. I want this to be a little bit more unrealistic, a little bit more fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to play on All Pro. We're going to have a lot more freedom, a lot more leg room to win, to use cheesy plays, to abuse it, and do everything in between when we want to. But what I'm going to do a change here is that if we get a 5-star performance here in Flashback Pink Slips on All Pro, the next game 100% has to be on All Madden. So we're going to make it that much more difficult. You get the reward of getting a 5-star performance. You get the reward of being able to spin the wheel for that 5-star performance. But you have the downgrade of it's going to be that next week. It's just going to be that much harder. It's going to be All Madden. So I feel like that's going to be the middle ground here to keeping that balance of making it fun, making it so it's not super realistic, super challenging, so that you get something different. You watch the Rip City for that challenge, for that grind, trying to make it better. You watch Pink Slips to just be like, all right, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, but we're also not going to let it get as one-sided and as dominant as it was when we first started doing Pink Slips here in Madden 20. I think that's the best middle ground here. I don't know. You let me guys know if you agree with that, but I just wanted to offer something different than what you're getting in the Rip City franchise, and that's kind of why I want to do Pink Slips for me also, because I get mad. We've already done Rip City, and I'll just rage because it's just ridiculous, and that's kind of what we want. So when that gets like that, I want to be like, all right, tomorrow I'm just gonna play Pink Slips, and it's gonna be just a different experience for me as a content creator, and a different experience for you guys to watch as my subscribers. So while we're kind of talking about the rules and stuff, this is very important, because if you don't really know Pink Slips, you don't really know what the 5-star spin the wheel is. And the wheel is very powerful. It's what you want. It's what helps this series progress itself. And this here is the old Pink Slips wheel. I don't want to say it's old as in the fact that it's outdated, because we're probably going to carry over a lot of these widgets over to this series. But this is what happens. If you get a 5-star performance, you not only get the immediate plus 10 of points to spend to steal a player away from the team you just defeated, you get an opportunity to spin the wheel. We have all these different widgets here. We got free agency freebie, which means we can sign anyone that's currently a NFL free agent. We had a dev boost widget, which means +1 dev trait upgrade to any player that you choose. We had +20 total points, which means that we get to add 10 more additional points to the amount that we can use to steal a player, giving us 20 total, so essentially double. Obviously, if you guys can do math, it's double. We have the pink special, which means we could give +1 to speed, acceleration, throw power, and throw accuracy deep. We had max XP, which means for the next 2 games, which essentially is an episode because these episodes are broken up into 2 weeks at a time, sliders will be maxed out, so it helps your players' development and growth. And then we had the last one, which was pick a team, which means that +10, say if we beat, just looking at the schedule, we beat the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And we had that +10. If I get pick a team, I can just take that +10 and apply it to any other team in the National Football League. So really, it's a +10 to get any player that I want in the NFL, which was pretty powerful. So now that we're coming over to a brand new style of Pink Slips, I think it's time to open up the doors, open up the floodgates to potentially adding another widget to this wheel. But I don't exactly know what we can do. I had someone in the suggestion say, because a lot of this, the aura, the appeal of this is being able to draft through NFL history, seeing all these guys come and go. I think there should be something that affects draft picks positively, that we can acquire more draft picks so we have more chances to draft a lot of the greats, a lot of the steals, a lot of the players that you guys want to really see. I'm just not so sure how we could weigh that, so looking for suggestions there. And I'm also thinking maybe finally, after 3-4 years of doing Pink Slips, I might add a loss wheel. If we lose by 5 stars, which is few and far between, but I feel like in that rare instant that does happen, maybe we at risk of getting just absolutely railroaded by the team that was able to finally beat us to a 5-star loss. I'm thinking maybe we could look at a dev trait downgrade as an option on a wheel, lose a draft pick, which is that much more important because we want to be able to draft some of the really good players that have come through the NFL over the last 20 years. Maybe having to draft a known bust could be an interesting widget. We land on that, it'll mean, I don't know, we'll have to figure out what pick it would be, but it'd be like our 1st round pick will have to be a known bust, so that when we get into a draft, if there's Jamarcus Russell sitting right there and we want Calvin Johnson, we remembered we got spanked, we have to draft, no matter what, the biggest bust from that 1st round. I feel like that's a really, really powerful disadvantage, but I think it would be exciting to potentially have that and make for interesting content. So if you guys do like the idea of a loss wheel, let me know some ideas for that widget on top of, having to draft a known bust, losing a potential draft pick, or having a potential dev trait downgrade. So now that's out of the way, why are we the Tennessee Titans? Well, it is only 2002, but I like just the idea that this is super retro. What I'm gonna do is, the last time we did Flashback franchise, we were the Houston Texans, because from this 2002 starting point, that is when the Houston Texans were an expansion team, their first year in existence. So what I'm gonna do, instead of taking over Houston, because they are like the prime team if you are starting a series like this, I'm actually gonna control the Houston Texans, and I'm gonna relocate them somewhere else. We're gonna act like in 2002, when they're landing the expansion teams, Houston did not get a team. I don't know where I'm going to move them. I might actually move them to San Antonio just to pay homage to the first Flashback franchise we did a couple years ago. But why I'm doing that with the Houston Texans in particular is because I want to take the Tennessee Titans and I want to move them back to become the Houston Oilers. Just because, above all, I want to be Flashback retro, and the Oilers are a retro team. You get those old school badass Oiler retro uniforms. I feel like that it stays true to this series, and it's going to help you with that aura of like, man, this actually does feel really retro. Look, he's using the goddamn Oilers. So it just so happens that, it made a lot of sense to relocate on from the Houston Texans because it's only first year in existence. Let's just act like Houston didn't win the bid. And they're like, oh, we don't need to bid for the expansion team because we know the Tennessee Titans are going to come back home. So that's kind of a little bit of storyline that's getting mixed in here. And that is why I'm the Tennessee Titans for now. And eventually we'll be the Houston Oilers, and the Houston Texans will be the San Antonio Marshalls. That pretty much leads us to the preseason and our team. How is our team shaping up? How does the preseason work? Now, this is different because this is like a modded roster. Free agency is brutal. Like, the best free agents are the guys we had to cut. And it wouldn't make any sense to really have a way to earn these guys back because we want to kind of suck. So literally, at least for this year, preseason doesn't matter. I'm just going to straight up sim the preseason games. We'll be able to earn XP, obviously, but our team is pretty bad. There's no other way to put it. But usually preseason, we throw something into the mix to make it worth playing for, except for this year, it's kind of just a throwaway. But let's finish up this episode with meeting our team, seeing if there's any players that you remember, any players that I even remember, as this was quite strenuous to try to fill this roster. We have Neil O'Donnell, no idea who that is, but we have Ryan Leaf as our backup. I'm not gonna lie, probably gonna make him our starter. One of the biggest busts in NFL history out of Washington State. Obviously it came down to him, Peyton Manning, for the Colts there. I mean, he went to the Chargers, it was horrific. So I mean, I don't think at 26 really there's a chance that we're gonna be able to turn his career around, fix his career. But I think he's an interesting quarterback just to have play for the time being. He has 92 throw power. That kind of is pink slips running back, we have Robert Holcomb, Jamal Anderson, who actually spent some time with the Atlanta Falcons. Napoleon Kaufman actually had a couple big years, I think with the Raiders, maybe. I'm pretty sure Kaufman actually had a crazy year. Napoleon Kaufman, maybe I'm mistaking him. Yeah, 1997 for the Raiders. He had almost 1,700 yards from scrimmage. So obviously, a little bit older now. Mike Green at fullback. So we have Kevin Dyson. He is going to be one of our team captains. He is going to be one of our plus 70 overall players. So we're allowed to have 3. So it's going to be Kevin Dyson, who, if you do watch, Tennessee Titans, he's had some big plays. Drew Bennett. We got Carl Pickens, Rocket Ishmael for special teams abilities. Yeah, he's 34, but I've heard of him. Rocket Ishmael. You probably should have. One of the most dangerous return mans in NFL history, kind of like Devin Hester before there was Devin Hester. Tight end. I know OJ Santiago because he was Canadian. That's about it. 6'7", 265. Offensive line, we got Jason Matthews, Tom Ackerman, Gennaro DiNapoli, Aaron Graham, Justin Hartwig, Greg Skrepanek, and Matt Martin. Again, just absolute who's who on our offensive line. It's a terrible offensive line. Thank God we're not playing on all Madden because we get sacked 45 times a game. From the defense, again, not really familiar with any. We got Tracy Scroggins, who spent some time with the Detroit Lions. Jaquay Parker, I actually know him. He was on the Philadelphia Eagles for a little bit. Mike Mamula, I was able to grab him off free agency. He's one of the biggest busts in Philadelphia Eagle history. And, of course, he'd be sitting there in free agency. He was one of, like, the big combine warriors. One of those guys that made people skeptical of the guys that dominate the combine because he had ridiculous, freaky 95% on steroid type numbers at the combine. Philly drafted him in the first round. He was an utter bust. One of our other team captains is going to be Big Albert Hainsworth. I mean, you know, he came a meme near the end of his career with the Washington Redskins when he got outrageous money, but he was one of the most dominant defensive tackles I've ever seen. This is his rookie season. He was top priority for me to retain as one of our 370-plus overall players. We have Robert Smith also playing alongside him at D tackle. Peter Sermon, no idea, outside linebacker. Rocky Kalmus, Frank Chamberlain, Brad Castle, Rocky. We have 2 linebackers named Rocky, so we got that going for us. The secondary, our best player is Andre Dyson, 75 overall, star dev, 23, tremendous speed, 95 speed, 95 acceleration. He is going to be our 3rd and final team captain, just making under that threshold. We got Donald Mitchell, 69, Sidney Beckham, Mike Eccles, again, no idea. Rich Cody, Scott Frost, hey, you remember UCF, and now he's the head coach of Nebraska. Well, he spent some time as a DB in the NFL, and he's going to be a depth safety for us. Strong safety, we have Tank Williams and Eric Morris. Special teams, Pete Stoyanovich and Brett Bartholomew. I'm pretty sure, if you don't have a poster of Brett Bartholomew in your bedroom, especially when you were a kid, I don't know what's wrong with you. So that is our roster. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know like 5 guys on this team, but the exciting thing is we're starting in 02. We have all these years to build this team up and acquire really nice looking players. And yeah, wow, we are still really bad. I think that's even a lower overall than the Rip City team. So we've gone through the preseason. Our team's a little bit better. We got some upticks here because of our opening rule. However, I am refusing to spend, just until once we get into it, Andre Dyson's point, because 75 was the max we could have for our starting roster. And we're going to have a very quick turnaround. I think the next episode will be either Monday or Tuesday, because this first year is kind of a wash. I want to get to the Oilers. I want to get all the relocation stuff done and out of the way. So basically this episode, just kind of introductory, get everyone going, and to get feedback in case we want to make some changes before we get this thing underway. But the next episode will be the entire simulation of the 02 season so that all the relocation stuff gets done. And, hopefully if we win some games throughout that simulating season, we'll be able to spin some wheels, grab some players, and improve our squad. So I hope you guys are excited for this series to get underway. I hope you're all caught up, and I really do think if you have a great idea, the idea that you've been sitting on for Pink Slips when it returns, or for Flashback franchise when it returns, feel free to have that diarrhea of the mouth and just spew it all in the comments, because I'll be looking it up and eating it up like a goddamn dirty-ass dog. Thank you guys for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Go LA Wildcats. I'm watching them right now. Got some money on them. And I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow with, I think, what's going tomorrow? Tomorrow's Monday. It's a holiday here in Canada. It's called Family Day. Most Canadian holiday of all time. Maybe tomorrow will be Rip City. And then Tuesday will be the return of this. I don't know. But we'll see you back then. Peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking the talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, I never. Not me, I never. Not me, I never. I'm way too clever.